Hi. This is kind of a weird angle, but I'll take it. So, I have been wanting to make this video for a while, and it's a video about, are you ready? Hoarding! I'm happy to make this video. I'm excited to make this video because I truly believe that just about everyone hoards to some degree. We're gonna get more into it as time goes on, but I really love that show, Hoarders. I feel like I've probably mentioned it before on my channel, but it's fun to watch that show, and I think that part of the fun aspect of that show is that I mean, it's comforting, I guess, to see people who are immeasurably worse off than you in multiple ways. And that's harsh, but it's true. Okay, so hoarding disorder, according to, I think this was on Mayo Clinic, is an ongoing difficulty throwing away or parting with possessions because you believe that you need to save them. We can like tone that down a little bit and say that the fact of the matter is that everyone acquires many items that end up accumulating. Everyone. I would say everyone in the US, probably everyone in the first world. Yeah, I would say that. But anyway, okay, so in 2014, actually, in 2014, I had a New Year's resolution, and I followed that resolution the entire year. But the reason I had that resolution was that in 2013, okay, this is a while ago, I realized that I was buying too many clothes. Like every few months I would have to like purge my closet and give shit away. And sometimes the things I bought like still had tags on them, and I was like, okay, this is ridiculous and I need to stop. And I did stop because my New Year's resolution of the year 2014 was that I would buy zero clothing. And I had rules for it. Like if I needed some item of clothing that I did not have, I could buy it. Or if there was some kind of emergency where my only real option was to buy clothing, then I could buy it. I was also able to accept clothing as gifts if anyone wanted to give me clothing. But it was seriously, I was buying zero clothing. I wasn't buying underwear. I wasn't buying bras. I wasn't buying socks. Okay. I didn't buy any new article of clothing for that entire year. And I was really happy about it. It was hard because I was going shopping too much. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can not buy clothes for the entire year because I really am not going to need any. And when you know it, I ended up never needing to buy clothes. I never had an emergency. I never had, it was never necessary for me to have any article of clothing that I didn't already have. So I didn't buy clothing. And then on the first day, I didn't buy clothing for 365 days of the year. And I also like bought some stuff like at the very end of 2013 where I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna need this next year. So I bought that stuff and I ended up never needing it. LOL. But so then at the very beginning of 2015, I went out just because I could, okay? I went out and I bought some nice leggings and a nice top from, I want to say Lululemon, like just because I could, because I hadn't shopped for clothing that entire year, the entire year of 2014, okay? And I got those two items and I was like, okay, these are nice, like I'm gonna wear these, and I did wear them for a fair amount of time, but I was like, shopping was not that great. Like, I waited the whole year and then I went out and got these 2 articles of clothing, and it was like, whatever, you know? I'm just saying that I was spending too much time shopping. I wasn't being super mindful about it, and completely prohibiting myself from shopping for the entire year really did help me. I remember having seen articles of clothing like during that year that I wanted. The only one I really remember that I like really wanted badly was I saw this shirt at, I think it was H&M. It was a t-shirt at H&M that had Hey Arnold and Gerald on it, and I was like, I wish I could have this, but I couldn't have it. And that was actually really interesting to do, was to go into clothing stores while I wasn't buying clothes for that year. I think I only did that a couple times, but like that was actually really necessary for me to do, because I needed to not buy anything. I needed to go in that store, look at everything, see things I wanted, and not buy them. And that's exactly what I did. I told that to a few people. Like, I told a few people before 2014 started that that's what I was doing, and they were like, wow, that's hard. Or like, oh wow, like, I hope you can do it. Like, I told that to a lot of women, and they were kind of surprised. But I did it, and I'm so happy that I did, because it really did change me, in all seriousness. Like, it really did. It really made me appreciate the clothes that I had. It really made me more mindful of fast fashion in general. It really did rid me of a bad habit, and I'm happy I did that. And I would actually do it again, honestly. But just like identifying that problem in my life, that I was buying too many clothes, not buying any clothes for an entire year, and then like just reflecting on both of those things was just a total game changer for my entire life. Okay. Really, that did change me, like, for good. And now I'm just a lot more mindful when I buy clothing, like, just overall. I don't buy clothing very often, honestly. I did just buy some clothing, but that was like specifically hiking gear that I didn't have. So I'm going to hike this year, so I kind of needed better hiking clothes. And there's actually a discount store here where you can get really good quality stuff for not $100 each. So that's where I went. But yeah, I mean, it really put me in a better place mentally for the hoarding that I was doing. I was hoarding clothes. They were like contained within my closet, but I was like, the probably the 5th or 6th time I was like, okay, let me clear out my closet this year. The 5th or 6th time I did that, I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this again? Like, I did this a few months ago. Like, this is dumb, you know? But anyway, yeah. So now when I buy clothes, like, I only really buy things if I really love them and I really want them. It's good to be more mindful of what I'm buying, of the clothing that I'm buying. And we're gonna get to KonMari in a minute, but like, I recently just KonMari'd like all my clothes, and now all the clothes that I do have are ones that I really love and really want to wear. Anyway, we're gonna carry on. Okay, so Hoarders, the show that I just mentioned a moment ago. We love it. We quote it. I really want that rock. Um, it is exploitative though. Like a lot of the time on that show, the people who are getting the help, the people whose house is being cleaned out, they didn't sign up for it. I think their family members sign them up for it a lot of the time. Um, and it's exploitative because a lot of them do not want help, and they also do not accept help when they have it. Um, it's kind of like just being like, wow, look how gross this person's house is, or like, wow, look how much shit this woman has acquired from uh, QVC or whatever the heck, right? But like, even if these people don't want to do it and their family members put them up to it, you do have to sign waivers and stuff, like legal paperwork saying that you'll be on camera and you're going to do this show. And if people really didn't want to do that, then they wouldn't sign that paperwork, you know? I don't know everything about it. But yeah, a lot of them don't want to change. A lot of them refuse change. And there was this one woman on that show who really, really, really made me mad. I don't remember her name, but she was an older woman. And it was really sad because there were a ton of dead animals in her house. A ton of animals that she had like acquired, kept in cages in her house, and just didn't care for. And she allowed them to die. I'm pretty sure that's actually a felony. And she didn't really get any punishment for that. I think that was the episode. This is really sad, okay? I think that was the episode where there was a cat that ran out of the house and it died. Like, it saw its opportunity to run the fuck away and was like, I want to just die out of this horrible place. And it died. Like, in one of the helpers' like arms. Like, that's how fucked this situation was. And one of the therapists on that show was like, so I see you have a lot of dead animals here. What happened there? Like, why do you have these dead animals in your house? And I think she said it's also clearly happened like more than once. Like, you've done this more than once. Like, why is that happening? Why did that happen? And there was this really long pause, and the woman said, don't ask hard questions. But like, really, that woman, anyone who does that to animals, especially domesticated animals that we love as pets, should be charged legally. That woman should have gone to prison because she was responsible for the death of like at least 12 cats. Like, why is that not wrong? Anyway, yeah, so this show is kind of exploitative. And, you know, I think that many people, I would go so far as to say that most Americans hoard to some extent. Truly. I mean, how do you watching this, do you have the perfect amount of socks? Do you have the perfect amount of underwear? Do you have the perfect amount of cutlery? Do you read all the books that you own? Do you really enjoy all the books? Let's see what I'm saying is that everyone, to some degree, hoards. Period. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but like, it's true. Okay? However, we do really benefit from being aware of this. And we do really benefit from getting rid of things. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you know you have a problem, you can address it or try to address it. Right? if you don't know you have a problem, then you're never going to try to address it. So I wrote notes for this video. I don't always do that, so I'm going to read my notes now. Before I get into KonMari, I need to say that our society encourages and often ensures excessive buying, excessive packaging, poor quality products, so we often have no choice but to buy excessively. Hold corporations accountable because normal civilians like you and I often have little to no power over this fact. And that's true. Like, planned obsolescence is when technology gets outdated within like 2 years. Like right now I have a phone that's like old. It's like 4 years old. It's actually not that old because I lost my phone and then I had to replace with the same exact model that wasn't being distributed as new anymore, but like the model of my phone itself is old, period. Like, and it's like not that old, it's like 4 years old. Maybe it's like 6 years old. It doesn't matter. It's more than 2 years old because most phones are designed to become outdated within 2 years, and then you have to buy another phone, etc. And like, you don't have power over that. I don't have power over that. Quite literally no one other than the corporations in charge here have power over that. I don't know if you guys remember this. If you're young, you probably don't, but it took way too fucking long for phones to all have the same type of charger. Like now you can get an Android charger, any kind of Android that'll charge any kind of Android, and you can get an Apple phone charger that'll charge any kind of Apple phone. And it took years for that to happen. Okay. And that was just honestly outrageous. It's probably still not even true. I don't know about those clamshell phones, but I think those have probably a different type of charger. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, and with like packaging, right? Like if you buy a product in the mail, if you buy a product at the store, it has like all kinds of plastic, all kinds of cardboard, all kinds of trash on it. And you don't have control over that. I don't have control over that. No one has control over that. None of us average civilians, like, you can't just buy a product with no packaging or little packaging or biodegradable packaging. Like, we do not have that option. You see what I'm saying? Is like, we are in a society that encourages excessive buying with little to no variation from that, really. And that's not something that individuals can address directly, unfortunately. I wish it was, but it's not. So I'm saying that even if you do your best to have the perfect amount of socks in your sock drawer, and you do your best to have the perfect amount of utensils, and you do your best not to excessively buy, you're probably doing those things anyway. Because we can't buy really quality socks, like, you're gonna have to buy new ones every so often, right? Or you're gonna have to get a new phone every so often, that kind of thing. I'm saying we are in fact powerless to a degree, but at the same time, we aren't exactly powerless to a degree, because like you let's be real here, you probably don't need an updated phone. Like, your 2-year-old phone is probably fine for whatever it is you do in life, whatever your work is. Like, some people need the most high tech, most advanced items, whatever, but most people don't. I'm just saying it's tough to have a balance, and it is also kind of borderline impossible. Anyway, let's get to KonMariing. Having read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo changed my life. And I am completely serious, and I just cannot emphasize that fact enough. It changed my life. It should change anyone's life who reads it, and it should encourage you to get rid of everything you need. So there was this study done. I might be able to find it and link it to you below, just about American households. And it said that, like, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it said that most people, and this was just the study that was done. I think it was over 100 American homes that they studied. So obviously it wasn't all of them, but like, it said that at least 2/3 of people have so much stuff in their garage that they can't park their cars in them. And it also said that, like, most people in most people's homes, the kitchen is like the place to be. The kitchen is where people gather, but homes are not really designed that way. They're not really designed with that in mind. I think it also said that people with kids just had a lot more stuff. I've seen a lot of moms hoarding, and I can't really explain it to you. I don't know, maybe it's because of like traumatic births partially, because hoarding does tend to come from trauma. Like extreme hoarding, like in the Hoarders show, does tend to come from trauma. But y'all tell me who the fuck ain't traumatized in this day and age to some degree. Who? And a lot of the people on Hoarders, like, someone they love very much dies, and then the hoarding gets way worse, you know, because they don't know how to deal with it, and they just start hoarding about it. But like, that's so many behaviors, you know. Tons of people like really get into alcohol after a loved one dies, or tons of people just don't know how to deal with it, so they don't deal with it. Even if they don't start hoarding, they don't start doing any type of drugs, like not dealing with that properly or not dealing with that at all is going to be a problem for you. Like, sorry, that's just the way it is. Okay. I love the life-changing magic of tidying up, though, because she really breaks down like how we acquire so much stuff, why we acquire so much stuff, how people who have acquired so much stuff learn to let it go. She explains that, like, she really like puts you in a mindset where you want to start getting rid of things. She also explains that, like, if you, and I know some of y'all are gonna feel guilty about this, if you ever go on like massive cleaning spells, like massive, what is it called? I don't know. Just, you know, every so often you have to do this giant scouring cleaning of your home. Like, your house is not actually clean in that case. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But she says, like, if you have to do that, that means that you have so much stuff that is not serving you. So that basically, like, you're just destined to be untidy if that's the case. Like, sorry. And she's right. She's right. I really encourage everyone to read the book, Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. I really do. So what she does is she explains that, like, if you get rid of all the things physically in your life that you do not need and do not want or are no longer serving you, if you do that, then you're going to be tidy for the rest of your life. And I know that's like, that sounds unreal. That sounds just kind of outrageous, but like, it's true. If you get rid of all of the things in your life that you absolutely do not need, you're only going to keep the things that you do need, and then you're going to be able to assess your whole life better because your brain is going to be clearer. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, So she gives you a system, and the system is of getting rid of things, uh, an order of operations of getting rid of things in your home. And she says that first you should get rid of clothes, next you should get rid of books, and third you should get rid of papers and miscellaneous things, and fourth you should get rid of sentimental items. And the reason that you start with clothes is clothes are easy. It's easy to get rid of clothes that you don't want. It's easy to understand, what clothes you do want. And there's a whole fucking show on Netflix, you guys, if you want to watch it. But you don't even have to watch that. But like the way that the method she uses is she says you should get all your clothes, all of them, every single item of clothing in your home that's yours, and put it on your bed. Make a mountain of clothing. And I did this a couple months ago, and I got rid of I had freaking cardboard boxes that were like this big. I got rid of 2 of those filled to the top of clothing I wasn't gonna wear, or I didn't need, or I didn't want. And like I've actually gotten rid of a few more clothes like since then, but just doing that really helped me out. And it also helped me to organize my clothes in a way that made a lot more sense. And she also says that you should really have a due date for when you're done KonMariing. But anyway, the reason you start with clothes is that it's the easiest thing. That's the most it's the least challenging thing to get rid of. So you start with something very easy to get rid of, and then it's more difficult to get rid of something like books. It's just slightly more difficult, okay? But then, once you've already gotten rid of your clothes, then you've got some momentum going, and you've experienced purging items. I just love the feeling of purging items. I cannot tell you. Like whenever I get rid of a ton of shit, I'm so happy. Like really. But so you have, then you're on that, momentum of having gotten rid of your clothes, and then you're ready to get rid of your books. And then you get rid of your books. And then by that point, you're ready to go through all the papers and miscellaneous things in your life that you can get rid of. And then finally, you're ready to get rid of the sentimental items, which are, hardest to get rid of. But since you've already done the 3 things before it, like you've taught yourself to get rid of things that maybe mean a lot to you. I am so much better at getting rid of everything now. Honestly, after having experienced KonMari, like I can't even tell you in words. Like I get rid of items if they have the wrong vibes. I get rid of items if they're attached to a memory. It's really, really, really freeing to get rid of things that you do not need. And anyway, Marie Kondo says that you should have a due date for when you're going to be done KonMariing. And then you have to work towards that due date. And her method is you need to get rid of everything within a period of 6 months or less. And that makes a lot of sense because her way of doing things is like if you're able to create this big change in your life in 6 months or less, then you're able to understand and see how much better your life becomes once you get rid of those things, right? I've been around a few hoarders, and I don't think that for the most part, they're really not in trouble. For the most part, they're really being pretty reasonable about things. But it does get to the point. I mean, it should get to the point where you as a person are like, you know what, these items aren't really serving me, or you know what, I'm not really using this. It should occur to you, Um, I don't think that, like, I mean, hoarding is a fire hazard, obviously. Obviously. Um, Hoarding is like the thing is though, let me tell you this. Let's go all the way back to me having bought all those clothes, okay? I would get these clothes, right? I would acquire these clothes. I would shop for them. I would be so amped to get them. And then, like, as soon as I was in line to buy them, I knew I was going to spend money. And I was like, you know, this isn't really doing anything for me. Or, like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to spend this money, but, like, these are just clothes. You before you get to the point of being able to KonMari, or before you get to the point of being able to just get rid of things, you as an individual need to be like, you know what? Buying these things are just not making me happy. Or buying these things is not really working because I don't even end up using them. You need to come to the realization that whatever it is you're excessively buying is just not really making you happy. It's not really enriching your life. A lot of the times they're not, most of the time. Okay, maybe almost 100% of the time. They're not things that you actually need, right? They're just things that you probably kind of want. I love the comments in Hoarders on the Hoarders videos, and also like the process of KonMariing has really, it really forces you to just be more mindful about the things that you buy overall. Like, I'm trying to think of a better example, but I guess this one's okay. I would love to have like an inflatable pool toy, like an inner tube. I would love to have like a quality inner tube, um, or like a kayak or something. However, I have nowhere to store one. Um, and something like an inflatable pool toy, like, yeah, that would be cool to have, but it's also such a pain to store. Um, and it's just, I feel like it would be more of like, oh, like a cool moment, like, oh yeah, I got to ride this, giant pink flamingo. Like, that's cool, but it's like, can't you just go swimming? you know? Um, or maybe like you can go play in water with someone who owns one of those, and you can just, you know, experience it that way. I'm saying, like, once you become a lot more mindful about not only the use of something you're going to get, but this, like, where it's going to be in your home, like, that makes a huge difference mentally. And you might see something you want and be like, oh yeah, that's cool, I wish I could have one of those, but it ain't gonna work. Oh fam, I'll tell you what I want that I really wish I could get is, like, there's this at home, like, workout bar thing that I want, but, like, it's not gonna fit in my apartment right now. So yeah, maybe if I get a bigger place one day, I can have that bars workout thing, but, like, it ain't happening right now. I gotta go to the park or something to work out like that. um but if you want certain things that you don't have room for, and you really do actually want them, like, that'll motivate you to acquire it. That'll motivate you to get to a place where you can have that thing. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like there's more I wanted to say about this, but I do not encourage hoarding. I discourage hoarding for everyone. Um, and I encourage everyone to be mindful about what it is you're buying and how frequently you're buying it, and to not hoard things if you're buying too much. Like, I'll say one more thing. On Hoarders, people almost always say, there's this common theme that I've noticed, and it's not all the time, but people often say that, like, oh yeah, my mom used to never hoard. She used to have a room. She used to have one room where she kept stuff, and then it accumulates more, and goes throughout the house and stuff. So the remedy to not hoarding is never really starting, or if you do start, is stopping before it gets really out of hand. The notion of just having a room, or even having a closet, or having a garage, right, of hoarded stuff, like, that is just okay. I saw on another hoarding show, it wasn't Hoarders, but it was the same concept of Hoarders. There's this one older guy who hoarded his whole house, and his mom and I think his sister or something were trying to intervene, and they were like, yeah, Jim he treats his whole house like a garage. Fam, you should not be hoarding in your garage, okay? Like, don't do it. It's just because if you start hoarding in one place, if you start hoarding in a closet, if you start hoarding in one room, if you start hoarding in your garage, that's a gateway for the rest of the house, or the rest of wherever you live. And I want everyone to live a happy and healthy, unhoarded life. So good luck.